Hey everybody, welcome to the call. We're getting near the end of November. Thanksgiving is this Thursday. And just in case I forget at the end of the call to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving, I'm going to do it right up front and now. I hope everybody has an amazing day with family, with friends, that we're so blessed to be in this country. There's all kinds of possibilities of abundance, and that we know how to take care of ourselves and each other. And so I'm just going to wish a blessed day for everybody, and yeah, happy Thanksgiving. So with that said, we're going to get right into the call. Oops, I think I've muted everybody, but there's some noise going on. I'm going to just mute both you and Carolyn for 1 second and see if that takes care of it. And then I'll unmute you, Carolyn. I'll unmute you when it's your turn. So again, welcome to the call. This is the HEAT team call. And I'm Nikki Cotton. We host this with Chris and all of the other HEAT national marketing directors that are spread across the country. And tonight we're really blessed to have Alexis on our call with us, who is somebody that Carolyn is on Carolyn's team. And she's going to tell us how she recruited Alexis. It's kind of a fun story. Chris and I have been with the company for 28 years, and it's really all we've done to create income for the last 28 years. And it's been an amazing journey, not only financially and not only for our lifestyle of our children and us, but for the ability to be able to impact lives both in health and financial security. So with that said, Carolyn Swangeter, I don't know whether she's the HEAT NMD from Las Vegas or Atlanta or Phoenix. She's had a circuitous route since she's been a national marketing director. But Carolyn, would you tell us a little bit about your story of how you met Alexis and how you very graciously and brilliantly brought her into the family?
Well, thank you, Nikki. And I'm excited, and I'm very thankful for Alexis. And you're going to learn why when you hear her story and as Nikki asks questions. But I'll tell you what happened is that February of this year, you know, on your virtual office, you get those alerts. And it said, I had a distributor that got a customer. And I saw the name, and I never saw that name before, and I had never met Alexis. So I called her up in February, and I said, hi, I want to introduce myself to you. And I see you got an order. I mean, she had been a distributor for 2.5 years, and this is her first customer outside of her family. Okay, so I was curious, and I shared with her, you know, I see you got a customer. I was wondering if you'd like to learn more about our business and we have this HLP program. And Alexis said, are you kidding me? I work full time. I'm nursing a baby. I have another small child. I'm perfectly happy. So we hung up the phone. Well, 2 months later, Alexis got 2 more customers. Now she's got a total of 3. And it was the end of April, I believe. And I called her up and I said, hi, oh, by the way, I said, by the way, Alexis, you know, who are you? And she said, well, I am under my mom. Now I signed her mother joined my team 18 years ago. And so when Alexis came on board 2.5 years ago, she was just sponsored by her mom. So I didn't put the names together because she was married and it was a different last name. So I've said, well, Alexis, now that you've got 2 customers, you really only need 1 more customer or 1 more order for yourself, and you could get the HLP. And she said, oh, she said, well, what is that again? I said, it's $100. I'll take $100. So she immediately put her own shake order in and got an HLP. So here we are in May, from dealer in April to direct distributor in May. And from there, we talked a couple weeks later, and I just shared with her about, would you like to know about your next step? And Alexis, you're just going to have to share with us, because something clicked that you got on fire for doing this Juice Plus. So with 3 customers in May, now I just looked at the October 31st, your team has 374 customers, and you have over 60 distributors, pushing 70 now, by now. So you can see the fact that I saw her on a report, followed up with the phone call. She said no, saw something again, and she said yes. It changed both our worlds. And I'm just thankful for you, Alexis. So thank you for wanting to go the next step.
Carolyn, thank you. And I don't know why you don't do more trainings for us. You are absolutely delightful, right, you guys? Did you not love listening to how she tells the story? And you're amazing, Carolyn. So we're gonna be calling on you more. That's all I got to say. We're gonna be calling on you more. So, and maybe some of that Alexis energy has gone right up to you, like there's some kind of energetic shift for both of you. So when I started seeing that Alexis was cooking and Carolyn let us know about it, I got on the phone with her. I think it was probably in August or September, something like that. And I asked her a couple questions. And at that point, she had not yet had so many qualifiers. And I was saying, well, Carolyn said maybe she should do a training for us. And I said, well, let's see if it duplicates. And then the next time I looked, she had 6 frontline qualifiers. She's gone from 3 customers to 300 customers in a very short time. Clearly something is duplicating. So I think you guys are in for a treat tonight. So Alexis, if you would just start I'm going to unmute you, but if you would share, and I'm going to spotlight you here in a second so we can see how beautiful you are and get to know you a little bit better. But if you would just in under 3 minutes, kind of just tell your basic story, how you got introduced to Juice Plus, what it was like, and then maybe the spark that had you move forward. And then I'm going to start asking you and interviewing you. So I'm going to have you go for it.
Thank you, Nikki and Carolyn. So my name's Alexis. I live in South Texas, and I have 2 sweet Juice Plus babies. My journey with Juice Plus began 18 years ago almost, and I was a child on the family health study. And my family's always loved Juice Plus. It's always something that I knew would be part of my life and my family's life. And I never really knew what to say about it. And that's probably why I'd never shared. I don't really have that before and after Juice Plus story because I've been on the products for so long. But earlier this year, someone very close to me and our family had asked, what we did to stay so healthy, specifically our children. Our children had spent a lot of time together, and she had just noticed that mine were never sick and hers were always sick. And so she wanted to know kind of what our family was doing. And it was in that time period that I had kind of shared with her a little bit about Juice Plus, and she immediately said, how do I get this? Can you sign me up? And as Caroline mentioned, I had never signed up a customer. I didn't really know what I was doing. And I actually called the Juice Plus company to make sure I did it right, put the order in. And a few months later, when I followed up with her to ask, all those good questions, how are you liking the product? Can I give you any resources? She shared with me how much it had impacted her family and how it had changed their life. And that was a huge change for me, and just an obligation. I knew that I had to share with more people and just be more open about what I knew about nutrition. I'd been pretty closed off at that point. I know sometimes we can feel like we're very opinionated in our health and wellness field. And so I just never had really shared before then. And so at that point, I started posting on social media, and every time I would post, someone would order. And Carolyn tracked me down, and as she mentioned, the first time I said no. I had a great corporate job. I was making a lot of money. I was home with my babies, which was what was most important to me. And I didn't really feel like the Juice Plus company had anything to offer. And you never know when someone might need that, that relief. And a few months later, when she called, I now had a baby that was starting to crawl and move around, and a toddler. And I just knew that this was my moment, and I had to take this opportunity and just go with this. So
I love that story. And I want to tell all of you, just so you know, I don't want to spend a lot of time on this part, but we talked today, and Alexis let me know that on her social media, she at one point had, a couple thousand friends, but she decided to go smaller and quieter, and she decided to eliminate some friends, and she was just going to be a very private social media. So I want you to know that when she's posting on social media, who's seeing it really are her friends. She's not reaching out on social media. That's not where she's getting most of her business, or at least at this time. So we're going to learn where she is getting most of her business. So I think it sounds to me like you're the event queen. So my question is, how many events are you doing a week, and what kinds of events are you doing?
Okay, so I am definitely doing several events a week. I really love in-person events. I feel that the energy that you bring is just so much stronger when you're in person. I have recently started doing a lot more Zoom calls and have really enjoyed those, especially with some of my team members who are out of the area. But especially at first, a lot of my momentum came from those initial meetings. That was not only giving me an opportunity to show and teach my new team members, but it also gave me an opportunity to be introduced to all their customers and all of their new team members. And so we're doing a lot of events. I sometimes we do as many as 12 a month.
Okay, so that was what I was going to ask you. So sometimes, so you're showing up to 12 events a month. My guess is your husband is super supportive.
He is.
How cool is that?
Yes. So the month of June and the month of July, I was gone almost every evening during the week. And with 2 young babies, that was really tough, especially because I was still working my corporate job. And so I was just a very absent wife and mom for those couple months as we were in that transition. And so, yeah, he's been really helpful.
And I want to address something else. We talked a lot today about the fact that when I say there's a couple things that make a successful distributor, one is that somebody's teachable, one is that they want to have a mission in life, they really have, but one of them, they've got a good work ethic, but one of them I think, which is one of the most important, is that they have burning desire. And would you just, in a couple sentences, tell us where you'd like to be in this business and how quickly you'd like to be there?
Yes.
What's your burning desire?
When I decided to take this leap and go with the Juice Plus company, I said, I'm going all the way. I mean, I'm going straight to the top as fast as I can. And I have not looked back since. I know that there's, a lot of regulation kind of, especially as you get to the top and far as how many months you need to hold things. And I'm just out there to do it literally as fast as possible.
Right.
And that is what I'm doing with my team as well, teaching them.
So I really want to get, and you just said 12 events a month, right? Not a week. Is it 12 events a month?
Yeah, about 12 a month.
Yeah, that's what I thought you said. So I just want to say that for some of you that may be listening tonight, you have to check in with what your desire is, how fast you want to get there, because a lot of times when we hear somebody moving really quickly, we compare ourselves to those people. This call tonight is not for you to compare yourself that you're better, that you're worse, that you're anything. We're just listening to Alexis, who is on fire and has a burning desire to get to the top as quickly as she can. And I think it's really important to make that distinction. So what we're going to hear is, what does the person look like who's on fire, who wants to get to the top as quickly as, what is she willing to do? For how long is she willing to do it? So let's talk specifically about the kind of events that you're doing. So most of them are live. Are they mostly like wine and wellness? Can you give us, let's back up. How would you tell us a kind of event you'd have, and how would you invite to that event?
Okay. So I would have an event at a location, whether that's at a distributor's home, my personal home, business in town. We decide on a location, and then I get with all of my team members and we all invite. I want to make sure we have as many people there as possible, and we invite as personally as we can. So these are text messages, Facebook messages, phone calls, and making sure you're bringing people that need to know about this product. So making it, as, like I said, as personal as you can.
Are they themed? Do you have a theme to them? Like, are they wine and wellness, soup in a jar, salad in a jar? What do they have a theme to it, or? Sometimes,
but usually not. Usually this is just like health and wellness. Come learn about whole food nutrition. Honestly, kind of naive. I didn't really know about all of these things that the Juice Plus offered. That was a lot of what Carolyn introduced to me, a lot of the training, a lot of that. I did my first salad event actually just after Tampa. Okay. So I have had a salad in a jar party, but that's not really where I started.
Invite me to one of your parties. Okay. Like right now, invite me.
Okay. Nikki, I absolutely have to have you come to this event that I'm having. You've probably seen that I've been doing a lot of events, and I have just, feel so passionately about health and wellness and this mission. And I know that you would love this. I would really love for you to be there. Are you available on Thursday night?
Okay. So you heard that. Pretty simple. Okay. Now we all show up. Give us an example of what the party looks like.
Okay, so everyone comes in. I always make sure my team welcomes their guests. We always try to introduce everyone in the beginning before we get started. And then I show a short presentation. My slides are pulled from the mission-driven model, just the Healthy Living Revolution, where you get those slides. I usually just show 2 or 3 and tell my personal story. And again, I've been on the product a long time. There's great research behind it. I know that it's impacted my family. And then I go into the research and I talk about what the Juice Plus company has found over the years. And then after that, we line up in the back of the room. I let everybody know that I'm happy to assist them in putting in their orders, and I'm happy to help them, answer any questions and see what the best fit is for their family.
So I want to say that part again. So she goes to the back of the room with her computer in hand. Am I right?
Yes.
And you sit down somewhere with your computer and you say, hey, for those people that would like to get ordered, you might want to line up and we'll get you the right package for you and your family. Is that basically what it looks like?
Yes. And usually there is 1 or 2 people in the room that myself or my team know is really ready. We know that they're close, whether that's a family member or a close friend. And we kind of pull them in first, let them be the leader, because as long as one person makes that step, the next person will follow. So after that person's done, we're like, is anybody else ready? Does anybody else have questions? Another thing to mention is that our team really is supportive of the quad. We want the customer to have the best experience. And so the majority of our customers are ordering the quad, and a lot of times shakes as well. We have a lot of shredders.
Fantastic. Okay, so now you've got these great parties, you've got lots of customers, but you also have 6 frontline qualifiers that happened within 3 or 4 months. I mean, of you making VF, like 2 months after you made VF, I think you might have had 6 VFs underneath you, frontline, that were qualifying. Can you shed some light on, first of all, it means that they all had to do what you did. They all had to have events. They all had to be able to attract enough people to say yes. They had to be able to get people to, place an order. So it wasn't just a party. They were placing orders. Were you at most of their events helping them place orders? How do you think, what would you attribute to you getting 6 qualifiers in such a short time?
So yes, I definitely, as a leader, want to be present as much as I possibly can. I also am helping my team. Everyone on my team is brand new to the product. So for those of you who've been in the business a long time, just know that every person that I have signed up, they have literally just started. Some of them are just getting their second shipment, so that's important to know. And I feel like they need a lot of hand-holding. And so I have been really coaching them and teaching them. At the events, we help sign up their people together, and then help them get on Voxer. If you are on our team, you have to be on Voxer. That is the way we communicate. And Carolyn has been a huge, huge role there. When I first started, I needed someone around the clock helping me. I needed someone with those phone calls. I needed someone who could fix all the mistakes that I made, because you make a lot in the beginning. And she really did that. And she's really been there for my team as well, because there's no way that I could answer all the questions and do all the training and point them to all the right resources. So I definitely say, depending on your upline, is really helpful once they're signed up, once they're going.
Right. Now, I know that July and August, or June and July, whatever the 2 months are, you said you weren't really present for home. But since that time, I know that your whole thing is about streamlining things, using Voxer so you can be present for your kids, because we've talked about that. And I know you really are present for your kids. So when you have a brand new person start up, you immediately put them on are they on a small Voxer chat with just you and Carolyn? Do they go to a larger group right away? How do you onboard a brand new person?
So if they're frontline to me, then of course, I'm their direct contact. And then at that point, I kind of make a decision on whether or not if I need help. If they're asking for lots of resources and a lot of my time, I'll usually pull Carolyn in. If it's someone who's maybe a couple below me, we're always in a group message. So with multiple people in there, maybe anyone who's between me and them. So their leader is learning along the way. And sometimes Carolyn's in that message as well. So it just kind of depends on who the person is, but we do definitely do majority of our communication through Voxer.
Great. So a question came up. We heard how you invite to an event We know that after you've done your presentation, you ask people if anybody's ready to get started, come on, line up. We'll sign you up and we'll help you decide on the package you want that's going to be best for your family. How do you convert the customer from a customer to a distributor? How do you invite to do that?
That is a very good question. So I obviously have a lot of team members, and I invite every single person to be part of my team. That is part of my presentation. When I close, I always say, you know, the person who invited you is here tonight, or you know, the person who invited you would love for you to know about this mission. They may not always be present. And we would love for you to do this with us. And do you know anyone that you would like to share this with? And if the answer to that is yes, then we sign them up as a distributor and we put in their product order that same night. And so we're really streamlining that process. I know that there was a couple times Carolyn called me and I had signed up like multiple distributors in a day. And that was just because if they're ready and they're putting in a big order and they have a big family, that just makes sense.
So when you invite them, obviously, if they've got a big order, and we all do that too, obviously that's really serving them. It's always what helps them is more important than what's going to help us. So if they've got a large family, you always want to introduce them because they can get it at wholesale. But you know, your people that you invited in, I think the first party you had 6 people signed up as customers, 6 people became distributors, and I believe those 6 people are qualifying. Am I
You're pretty close. I think 5 of those 6 were at my very first event and signed up that night and have just moved right along with me. I have picked up a few more on the way.
Okay, so did you say to them at the time, did you introduce the idea of, you know, not only do we want you and we think that you'd be fun to be on the team or whatever you said, but did you also somehow cover what was in it for them? Why would they want to join? Did you talk about creating a side income? Did you talk about what it could do for them? Did any of that come up for you guys?
Yes.
For you women, and changing guys to women?
Yes, it just depends on the person. I say like when we're in a big group, the idea is more about sharing this with other people, getting this message out. If it's one-on-one, if I know this person needs this financially, that'll be a conversation that I have. But as far as in the event atmosphere, it's more about, don't you think your brother, your sister, your friend, your neighbor, someone in your life needs this? Who is that person? Let's have you sign them up so you can financially benefit from it.
Okay, great. So you really are approaching the making a difference, being on a mission, and we really need your help. Yes. And then from there, you can then turn it into the kind of lifestyle or the income that they're maybe looking for as you get to see where they're moving with this.
Right. So they need to have an event as soon as possible.
Okay, they need to what?
They need to have an event as soon as possible.
As soon as possible. So if they're going to sign up with you, they're going to have an event right away.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, and that's just expected. And so they know that that's what they're going to do. We're going to do one for you. When is it going to be? There's just, that's no playing around.
And there might be 3 people in the room that night that sign up as a distributor, and we'll do all 3 of them together. They'll all have an event together in a week or 2, and they'll all invite their people because they're all kind of at that same stage.
Right. I'm getting questions, and it's interesting. I'm getting questions about what slides specifically do you use, and I'm going to tell everybody, we're going to hear what slides she uses, but I'm going to let everybody know, and you tell me if you agree with me or not. I don't know how important it is what slides you use. It's however it's comfortable. It's your presentation that really makes the difference. It's more concept than it is detail, is my guess, because we all do slightly different presentations, but it's the fact, I think, that Alexis expects it to happen. But when you go through the mission, the Healthy Living Revolution, what are your 4 favorite slides? Can you say what they are?
Yes, I'm looking at them right now just so I know. It's the one that says, did you know that today's mass produce packs a less nutritional punch? So that one, the phytonutrients, the difference between a multivitamin and apple, the one that shows the 30 whole foods, and then I talk about what makes Juice Plus unique and the clinical research, which is huge. I always said that's my favorite part because it truly is. And then briefly talk about the omegas. And then I always end with the family health study. And that's it right there.
And do you show it on a large screen or do you just show it on your computer or TV?
I plug into a TV.
TV. Okay, great. So you do the TV trick. I love the TV trick. Okay, so we've got about 5 minutes left.
There's lots of
Um,
questions. I see all these questions popping up.
I've answered, I've been catching them, and I'm asking them as they're coming in, as they're really coming in. So let's go to the first one here that just says, how many people is she inviting? So how many people personally do you think you invite during the week to any event, personally?
At least 20.
Okay, 20 a week. And sometimes, I'm assuming sometimes they're the same group. They may just keep inviting, right? And
yes,
then,
they may not come the first few times.
okay. Did you actually make a memory jogger? Do you have a list of people? How do you remember who to invite? And are you into cold market, or are you still into your warm market at this point?
I do not have a memory jogger, but I will say that I do use Teamsy. And I do really depend on just, my social media. Those people who are coming up, the people who are watching my stories, that are interacting with my posts, that is my target right there. They know what I'm talking about. And I would say I'm still really in my warm market. I haven't really got into too much of a cold market.
Right.
Just because my team's growing so fast, my team is really still in their warm market too.
Great. And so if all of you haven't got yet how absolutely incredibly adorable Alexis is, like, do you not just want to just grab her and hug her? Like, can you imagine if she invites you to someplace with those smile on her face, the energy? It's not just that she's beautiful. Her energy is beautiful. She believes in what she's doing. She's excited about what she's doing. And it so comes across. It's what we talked a little bit about last night on the call. It's about posturing. And she's just a natural. She really is. So, right, Lisa, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. So, then there's a question, I'm not sure, it says, are all your distributors in your town? And if not, how does she tap them into her community? I'm not quite sure about that question, Ryan, because it says if don't have does, there's a typo in there. So I'm not sure what exactly you're meaning, but
a lot of my team is within my community. Not everybody is, though, because a lot of their warm market is out of the area, and so that's where we've really been utilizing Zoom calls to just pull in some of their people.
Right. So if they have a party, you're there and you're on Zoom and you're doing your presentation on Zoom for them.
Well, I haven't done that yet.
Oh, so
we'll do like a launch call, and so I actually learned what that was through the Monday Mastery calls this summer.
yes.
And I had my first one just after Tampa, and so we invited some people to that.
Okay, great. So I'm going to just stop. Is there anybody that wants to unmute themselves and ask a question or type a question? Because we've gone through a lot of material and we still have a few minutes left. I'm excited. We covered a lot of ground here. I can't believe how much ground we covered. It's really cool. So anybody have a question? Carolyn, you do.
Yes. So Alexis boxed me this morning. She got her first cold market person.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Alexis, you just got to tell that story of how social media brought that about. What did you do to your due diligence to get a person that you did not know
to sign up? And I want to remind you, that's not where her focus has been. She posts stuff and her friends are responding. She hasn't gone out after cold market on social media at all yet until this morning something happened. Tell us about it.
Right. I will say that I have a lot of team members who are stronger on social media than I am. I'm working on that as a leader. I do have a very small knit group of people who are part of my social media. I've befriended a lot of people over the years. And this morning I had a friend request from someone that I did not know. And typically Alexis would just deny that person. Who is this person? They don't need to snoop on my kids and my family. But I decided they looked safe. And so I accepted her. And I remember from a call this summer that Sandy Tabola had said that she always messaged people who had friend requested her. And so I reached out and I just said, hey, thanks for the friend request. How did you come across me? And she said that she was originally from this area and she just moved back and she's trying to meet new friends. And I said, oh, that's wonderful. I'm so glad to meet you. Thanks for requesting me. And then she asked me, so what is it that you do? And I was able to share with her how I just left my corporate job and now I share the mission of healthy living. And she said, I would love to hear more about that. And so I shared some videos with her, and she hasn't responded yet, but I'm definitely going to be following up with her and inviting her to an event. So that was really awesome for me to feel like, that was worth it for me to reach out to that person. What if I had never reached out to her?
Yeah. So it's so funny to me to hear you say, you know, I don't want her snooping on my family, right? I don't know what she's about. And here it is, somebody who really wants a friend. And so your world has expanded. You know what? Could you talk the difference between, maybe this could be the way that we could close tonight, the difference in being corporate America, and I know you made great money, and I know you had confidence, and you were really good at what you did, and you were in sales. But can you tell us what the difference is in this community, and how does it feel to be part of this community, and maybe what learning pieces you've got, or what's opened up for you? Does that, I know that's a really big question, but does that
is a huge question.
I know. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
So let me just say that I realized after my second baby this year that I was really trading dollars for hours. And while I was making great money, I was working a lot of hours, and I wasn't able to be as present at my job because of my duties as a mom. And I have definitely felt that difference within this community. I can be present as a mom and still be voxing and still be having events and still be sharing the mission with people who are like-minded. And so that's been the biggest change for me. I always felt like in corporate America, I had to hide my family because even though I worked from home, that wasn't really acceptable for me to have a child, you know, saying mom in the background, mom, I'm hungry, or something like that. And so that's been really different for me. And I think that we all know that the growth within this company is so much more than what you can get in corporate America. And I have that vision, and I know that this will be exceeding what I was making financially in corporate America and providing more time freedom for my family.
Wow, we had a great conversation today. You are doing everything we said we were going to do on the call tonight. You have not missed a beat, Alexis. Every single thing we talked about, you've handled like a real incredible leader. I just want you to know, it's really fun to see that. So final question, what do you say to a rep that says, my house isn't ready to have people, I'm not ready to present. And then how are you building relationships with second and third generation other than Voxer? Are you strictly using Voxer, or are you doing something different?
Okay, so answer the first question. If their house isn't ready, that's fine. Who are you inviting? Do they want to eat? Let's go eat at a restaurant. If they live in my town, my neighborhood, let's have it at my house. Where can we meet? That's a mutual place. And then as far as second and third generation, I have been using social media a little bit more, making sure I friend request every one of my distributors, because I have some that are 4 and 5 deep from me now. And I need to get to know them. I want them to know me. I want them to know my family. I want them to know my story. And I think that comes across more on social media now, because I am trying to post more. So, does that help?
That was a great answer. We are at 6:33 again. I really want to congratulate you for where you've taken this over a period of 4 months, to the fact that the light came on for you and you really understand that we have an obligation. I think you used that word earlier. It's really important that we be able to share this with people, because we really can impact lives. And all of us on the HEAT team cannot wait to see you walk across the stage next as a QNMD and an NMD, and be a HEAT NMD. So I want to thank you so much, Alexis. And what I would like to do is, unmute everybody, which I will do right now, and have everybody. But before I unmute everybody, I just want to let everybody know next week we have Lisa, who's going to be with Tracy Pontarelli. And I know that's going to be incredible. Lisa, will you unmute yourself and just tell us a couple sentences about Tracy, so people know that they need to be on the call next week?
Okay, so just like this beautiful young mama, Tracy also had a corporate gig in New York City. She's also heavily involved in fitness, and came to an event and immediately saw the vision of this business that was almost just about 3 years ago. And she's just about at 39 Club now, living in New York City, which is not an easy place to do the Juice Plus business. She is going to be sharing with us how she does her life and does this business as a busy mom. And also I asked her to talk specifically about the power of the 3-way call, because that's something that her and her team rely on to build team. So that's what she's going to be sharing with us next week. I love Tracy. You guys are going to love her. She's awesome.
Great. So Alexis, once again, I don't want to take away from you. This was an incredible call. You did a great job. I'm going to unmute everybody. Would everybody give her a really great, warm welcome?
Thank you.
Awesome, Alexis.
Thank you, Alexis.
Thank you,
Awesome, Alexis.
Thank you, Alexis.
Good night, everybody.
Love you.
Thanksgiving, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving.